Thank you.
Call the member to Shortland.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Since the beginning of this year, my office in Shortland has received over 100 calls about NDIS failures under this government. The people in my electorate are fed up with being constantly denied information and waiting in endless queues for care that they are entitled to receive. This government has turned the philosophy of the NDIS from choice and control to reasonable and necessary. The NDIS was meant to give agency back to Australians with disabilities, the chance to choose when it came to their care. Instead, in its bungled rollout of this scheme, this government has left people feeling hopeless rather than empowered. Take Mr Carlos Morrow, for example, a bilateral amputee who has recently undergone self-funded surgery at a personal cost of over $35,000. Mr Morrow underwent this procedure because he wants to keep working and contributing to society, but the prosthetic leg and wheelchair he needs from the NDIS is nowhere to be seen. He has been trying to get a new leg for over 2 years now, and there is no end in sight. These issues should be taken seriously by the NDIA, and they should be clear with the recipients about the status of their claims. But people who ask are unfortunately all greeted with the same answer, and I quote, "Under Section 100 of the NDIS Act 2013, there is no legislative timeframe to make an internal review decision. However, this agency will endeavour to make a decision as soon as operationally practicable. There is no accountability or transparency, and as a result, I and many of my Labor colleagues deal with individual claims daily." Today, the government got up in question time and sought to lecture us about aspiration. Well, that must sound a bit rich to people like Carlos Morrow. The message from this government is clear. Aspiring to make more money for the Big Four banks is fantastic, but if your aspiration is simply to have choice and control over your own life, they can't help you. Mr Deputy Speaker, the truth is that the NDIS is a fantastic concept that every single member of parliament supports, but the implementation has been rife with problems. We've seen issues around plans. If you're a great advocate or you've got a great advocate working with you, you can get a plan that suits your life, that gives you some control over your life. But if you don't have that, if you come from a less privileged background or have less information, you are faced with a cookie-cutter approach. And then even if you get the plan that you want, the plans are subject to annual reviews that change it, and then the process of reviewing those plans is incredibly problematic and complicated. I know of one constituent who had to put in a 27-page rebuttal to the review of their plan, of their family member. So, Mr Deputy Speaker, if we're serious about the NDIS empowering the lives of so many Australians with a disability, we must get it right. We must give them clear choices. We must empower them rather than mire them in endless bureaucracy that disempowers them and reduces the quality of their life.